A race car driver is looking to win the upcoming championship, which requires the completion of one circuit around the racetrack within 60 minutes. He has found that if he drives at a speed of 80 miles per hour, he will complete the racetrack within 95 minutes. If he drives at a speed of 90 miles per hour, he will complete the racetrack within 70 minutes. Given the data, find the linear equation that depicts the relationship between the speed at which the racer drives and the time it takes to complete the racetrack. First, we need to analyze the information we are given and develop a table of values. Now we have to first identify the independent variable and the dependent variable. From the question, we notice that as the racer, increases his speed, he will complete the racetrack in less time. In other words, as the speed increases, the time needed to complete the racetrack decreases. The speed is the independent variable, and the time is dependent on the speed. Therefore, let x be the speed, and let y be the time in minutes. Right, so our table is speed, which is x, and time, which is y. Now from the question, we are told that if he drives at a speed of 80 miles per hour, he will complete the racetrack within 95 minutes. Therefore, the speed being 80 miles per hour, he will complete the racetrack within 95 minutes. At the same time, we are given another piece of information, and that is if he drives at a speed of 90 miles per hour, he will complete the racetrack within 70 minutes. Therefore, 90 miles per hour, 70 minutes. Now, in order to find the linear equation, we have to be aware of its form. The linear equation is in the form y equals mx plus b. Let's start by finding the slope, which is the value of n. Now, m has the formula y2 take away y1 over x2 take away x1. We already have 2 points from the table of values. We already have 2 points on the graph, and that is x equals 80 and y equals 95. Another point we have is x equals 90 and y equals 70. Therefore, we use those 2 points to find the slope. Now keep in mind that 80 is x1, 95 is y1, 90 is x2, and 70 is y2. Let's substitute. y2, which is 70, take away y1, which is 95, divided by x2, which is 90, take away x1, which is 80. Plugging that onto the calculator yields negative 5 over 2, which is negative 2.5. We have therefore found the slope. Notice it is negative. This means something, and we will describe it in part D of the question. Now that we have the slope, our line so far looks like this. Y equals negative 2.5x plus b. Now, in order to solve for b, we need to use any point. Let's use the point 80 and 95. Given the point 80 and 95, where x is 80 and y is 95, right? We substitute the value of x and the value of y into the line and solve for b. Y, which is 95, equals negative 2.5 multiplied by x, which is 80, plus b. 95 equals negative 2.5 multiplied by 80, and that is negative 200, plus b. Adding 200 to both sides of the equation, 95 plus 200 equals b. 95 plus 200 is 295. That is the value of b. Therefore, our linear equation is y equals negative 2.5x plus 295. Now that we solved part A of the question, let's move on to part B. Calculate the time in minutes it will take him to complete the racetrack if he drives at the speed of 100 miles per hour. Right. As mentioned, the value of x represents the speed. In other words, this question means, what would the value of y be when x is 100? That's another way to ask the question. So all we have to do is actually substitute the value of x, which is 100, into the linear equation that we have and solve for y. Y equals negative 2.5 multiplied by 100 plus 295. Negative 2.5 multiplied by 100 is negative 250 plus 295. Y equals negative 250 plus 295 is 45. Let's interpret the results. This means that when he drives at the speed of 100 miles per hour, he will complete the circuit in 45 minutes. Part C. Calculate the speed required to complete the racetrack within 50 minutes. Another way of asking this question is this. Since the time is represented by the value of y, they're basically asking us when y is 50, what is the value of x? All we have to do is take the value of y being 50 and substitute it onto the linear equation. Y being 50 equals negative 2.5x plus 295. Let's subtract both sides of the equation by 295. 50 take away 295 equals negative 2.5x. Let's divide both sides of the equation by negative 2.5 to solve for x. 50 take away 295 divided by negative 2.5 equals x. X equals 98. Let's interpret the results. This basically means that when the racer drives at a speed of 98 miles per hour, he will complete the racetrack within 50 minutes. And finally, the last part of the question, which is part D, describe the relationship between the speed of the racer and the time by which he will complete the racetrack. Now, recall previously on this video that we mentioned the slope being negative. What does that mean? We notice that as the speed increases, the time decreases. The faster the racer drives, the less time he needs to complete the racetrack. The relationship is an inverse relationship. Peter is a fisherman. When he uses his fishing net, he catches around 2 fish per minute. Given the data, find the linear equation associated with the number of fish Peter catches per minute, and how many fish will Peter catch after 10 minutes. Now we know that the number of fish that Peter catches is dependent on the time. In order to find the linear equation that we're looking for, we have to first develop a table of data. Now, let x be the number of minutes that pass, and let y be the number of fish Peter catches. So, the minutes and the fish. So the first minute, he catches 2, because in the question it tells us that he catches around 2 fish per minute. Meaning that the second minute, he would have caught 4 fish, because each minute he catches 2 fish. The third minute, he would have caught 6 fish, and so on. Now that we have our table, we can develop the linear equation. Now the linear equation is in this form: y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and it can be calculated using this formula: y2 take away y1 over x2 take away x1. Or in other words, the change in y over the change in x. From the table, we can derive 3 points that we will have on the line of the linear equation that we will develop. The first point associated with the first minute is 1, 2. The second minute is represented by the point 2, 4. And the third minute is 3, 6. Let's use these 2 points to find the slope, where x1 is 1, y1 is 2, x2 is 2, y2 is 4. Let's find the slope. 4 take away 2 over x2, which is 2, take away x1, which is 1. That is 2 over 1, which is 2. That is the value of m. Let's find the value of b. Let's first develop the linear equation using the information that we know so far, which is y equals 2x plus b. Now, in order to find b, we need to use any point that we have, either this point, or this point, or this point, and substitute the values of x and y and solve for b. Let's demonstrate that. How about we use this point, where x is 3 and y is 6. So, we substitute the values of x and y. 6 equals 2 multiplied by x, which is 3, plus b. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6 plus b. Subtracting both sides of the equation by 6, 6 take away 6 equals b. 6 take away 6 is 0 equals b. So b is 0. Our line will be y equals 2x plus 0. However, it is unnecessary to write plus 0, so we can just write the line as y equals 2x. We have therefore found the linear equation that is associated with the number of fish Peter catches per minute. And now let's move on to answering the second part of the question. How many fish will Peter catch after 10 minutes? Right. We have already established that the number of minutes is represented by the value of x. This question basically means What is the value of y when x equals 10? All we have to do now is substitute the value of 10 into x of the linear equation. Y equals 2x, where x is 10. Y equals 2 multiplied by 10. 2 multiplied by 10 is 20. So this means that Peter will catch 20 fish after 10 minutes.